Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and welcome back, everybody, to a brand new video. What we're going to be discussing today is, guys, we're going to be talking about Zombies Chronicles 2 for Black Ops 4. I guess a DLC 5 or whatever it's going to end up being, but what's important for us to understand and talk about today is the fact that this is most likely absolutely going to happen. All of the maps that did not get remastered within the first Zombies Chronicles pack in Black Ops 3 are likely to come back in the next game in Bo4. Now, with that being said, of course, you guys know that I have a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about today. So if you guys are excited for Black Ops 4, then be sure you do leave a thumbs up. It helps spread the word around and get people hyped up for this next game that's coming out literally in October, which is wild. Also, make sure that if you guys are brand new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We are closing in on 100k, and if you would like to help out that journey, which would mean the absolute world to me, then feel free to subscribe, and it helps me out a ton. And the last thing, if you guys want to go check out my Discord server, the link will be in the description. We can keep this conversation about Zombies Chronicles 2, about Black Ops 4, going on over there. It's a really good way for you guys to interact with me and my YouTube community that we have going on here, so check out the link in the description and go join that Discord server. And with all that out of the way and said, guys, let's get into this. Do you remember a couple of months ago, before Zombies Chronicles dropped, how much of a myth DLC 5 was? There was an entire controversy about whether this or not was even going to be real, whether it was possible. Some people were completely against it because Activision and Treyarch was only agreed to release 4 DLCs in that time, and people thought that it was never ever going to happen in a million years. Come around the summer, we do get Zombies Chronicles revealed on JC Backfire's channel. That's how Treyarch decided to do it, and I think it was an absolutely correct decision. This was groundbreaking for Call of Duty. Never has there been a complete huge DLC pack that drops after the game's life cycle when the next Call of Duty, the next one that the other developer made, was in season. It was fully Infinite Warfare time when Chronicles came out, and that's sort of what the whole summer was consumed of when it comes to zombies. Now, you guys all know about Chronicles. I don't even need to explain it. We got a lot of maps remastered from older Call of Duty games, from World at War, Black Ops 1, and a map from Black Ops 2. Now, we actually have every single map in Bo3 that existed in World at War, and we have most of them from Black Ops 1 aside from Call of the Dead, and everything else came back from Black Ops 2 besides Origins, so a lot of maps were not included in that pack. And of course, during interviews and just general Treyarch talk, people have asked about why certain maps came back and why certain didn't. Jason Blundell has spoke briefly on this when he's talking to some of my friends or just interacting with the community, and his essential answer is that he wanted to bring maps that fit storyline-wise and that he wanted to work in right now. Some maps didn't fit thematically, which is the infamous Mob of the Dead, which we of course know is going to return probably in Black Ops 4. Now, the other maps that did not come back are, of course, Call of the Dead, there's Nuketown, the entire Transit series, or I guess you want to call it the Victus series with the Transit characters, but that did not come back, and a lot of people were upset because maybe Buried or Die Rise, for whatever reason, was their favorite map. I'm not roasting you if that was your favorite, by the way. That's just an observation that I made. But what's interesting is that some people are actually confused as to why that didn't happen. The reason is they couldn't bring a Transit, a Die Rise, or a Buried like standalone without bringing them all. They're all intertwined and connected through means of like the nav cards and then doing the super Easter egg when you choose to do one side, either Richtofen or Maxis, and then you get the super Easter egg ending over on Buried. So you can't really bring one without bringing the others, and I'm sure that was a huge factor as to why it didn't come in the first Chronicles. So let's talk about a second Chronicles and the possibility of all of these other Black Ops 2 maps along with Call of the Dead coming back. Why would they bring these specific maps into this? I believe this was done very, very intentionally and deliberately. In our first Chronicles pack, this focused mostly on the Ultimus crew, right? And if we bring back a second Chronicles that features, you know, the likes of Transit, Die Rise, Buried, Nuketown, Mob of the Dead, if we have all of this in one bundle, Mob of the Dead will probably not likely be with the DLC 5 quote-unquote pack, but it will still be on that disc and on that game. This is a lot of Black Ops 2 stuff revolving around Victus and the Mob of the Dead crew, so I think what Blundell is trying to do is really hash out these characters, maybe try to put as much of the comic book storyline in a game as he possibly can, because not everybody ends up reading the comics, and it would be really cool to see these ideas in motion and actually getting our hands onto play. So I think he really wants to explain where Victus got to how they are in the Mob of the Dead cryo chambers and everything like that. Now, at this point in time, we don't know exactly where we're headed when it comes to the storyline of Black Ops 4. We've had a couple hints of some of my friends in interviews talking about how we're probably not going to get a brand new crew at the beginning of the map or the map on disc. It's not going to be like Shadows of Evil, where these are characters that we're seeing for the first time and that never heard about previously. We're likely going to be playing as another crew that we've already, you know, experienced in the past, or maybe a mixture of a couple different crews. That seems to be a very popular theory at the moment, and I can kind of go along with that. But if all the unremastered maps, or the Chronicles 2, if all these are going to come in the same package, is supposed to represent or tell us something, give us some kind of message, I would say that this is going to be hashing out the Victus characters and tying it in with whatever Blundell's trying to do in Black Ops 4, because this season is going to take twists and turns, and we don't know where the story is going at all. Like, I don't even want to take guesses at this point, because we have absolutely nothing to go off of besides the maps that aren't back and then what we know from the comics pretty much. A big point of interest for a lot of people about this upcoming Black Ops 4 season is why it's releasing so early. Now, we don't really know for sure. Activision or Treyarch or anybody has not come out and said, hey, this is why the game is coming out a month earlier. It's likely to compete with other games that are releasing around that time, along with maybe a multitude of other reasons, but I suspect a big portion of it is that there's some big titles releasing around its area, so it wants to drop it sooner. But there's probably another reason or another advantage to doing so, and that's they're making room for more DLC. But I'm not really sure how that timing is going to work, because it's only releasing 1 month earlier, and there's usually like a standard 4 DLC packs per Call of Duty season, and Chronicles came out way after DLC 4, like months and months after, and they waited a long time for it. It was literally during the IW season, so I don't think that's going to happen in this case for Black Ops 4, but they might release a DLC 5 maybe in that extra month that they're going to have in front of them. I'm not really sure how it's going to work, and I don't expect it to be covered under this season pass. Reason being, guys, is that Zombies Chronicles, the first one, was the literal best-selling DLC of 2017, and it made Activision an absolute disgusting ton of money. You know what I mean? It was top of the charts the entire time, and they sold it for 30 bucks a pop. So they would be kind of you know, screwing themselves over a little bit if they were to put this under the season pass, in my opinion, and that does kind of suck for some people, but I feel like that's how it's going to be. In my personal opinion, when we do end up getting this Chronicles 2, when we have Call of the Dead, pretty much the entirety of Black Ops 2 back, the reason I think they saved these maps in particular is because of the different game modes that were able to be played on these. Now, granted, Grief and Turned were probably not the most loved when Black Ops 2 was in its prime, but I think that Blundell is going to try some new things in BO4, maybe with different game modes, and potentially he could implement those into some of the older maps, and if they work well, they could end up being a lot of fun. I could see like a more refined version of Turned or Grief on some of the older maps, and with a couple like rule changes and tweaks, it could be an amazing experience in my opinion. And honestly, guys, we're pretty much at this point beyond a shadow of a doubt that Chronicles 2 would happen, strictly because of the fact that they know that they can remaster these maps, right? It was made possible with Chronicles, and Blundell was even talking about how the team wanted to do pretty much all of them, but they had to scale it back, you know, to make it an actual pack that they could sell for $30, just like we got today. But these other maps that they wanted to do, they're very well capable of handling those and putting it in another pack for the next game, and it's like, why not? When Activision was doing their quarterly meeting not too long ago, they kept highlighting about how successful this particular DLC ended up being. There's so much passion within this Zombies community, and Treyarch knows how much we love this, and if they invest a little bit of time and money into it, how much they're actually going to get back in returns. And yes, guys, I know this is a little early to maybe be speculating about it, because we don't have the game yet, and of course we still have a whole DLC season to go through, a complete full 4 map packs, assuming they're going to do it just like every other Call of Duty game does. We still have a big DLC season to go through, and then likely after that will be another Chronicles or some more remastered maps from the past, you know, the Call of the Dead and the BO2 maps. So that's really exciting to think about. It's never too early to be spitballing ideas about something that you're very passionate about. I was making videos about an Origins remaster that I thought was going to happen way before the release or even announcement of Chronicles. There was a lot of evidence stacked up with it, and I kind of figured it was going to happen sometime down the road, and I like made videos to let you guys know what my thoughts on it, and it ended up happening, which is amazing. So what's to say that this Chronicles 2 down the road of Black Ops 4 Zombies wouldn't happen? But I don't just want to be me talking and speculating about this. I want to know your guys' thoughts about what map you want to see come back the most and why. Personally, I would love to see the entire Victus series come back, because imagine if there's an end game to something like Transit or Die, Rise, and Buried, and you know, there's like small little cutscenes involved in them. The only thing that is like slightly lacking about the older Easter eggs these days as compared to the new ones is that there's no really ending huge big reward. You don't really get a cutscene in most of these eggs from the older games, so that would be nice if we ended up getting that at some point or another. Maybe every map with a main questline would have like a new Easter egg or cutscene. I know they're going to add new stuff into these remaster maps, just like they did small stuff with Chronicles. So essentially, we have Call of the Dead from Black Ops 1 that hasn't come back, and then we have almost the entirety of Black Ops 2, the whole Victus series, Transit, Die, Rise, and Buried, Nuketown, and then Mob the Dead, which I think is going to be separate from that pack. And then whatever Black Ops 4 also has in store for us when it comes to the map on disc, and then the entirety of the DLC season, which I assume is going to be 4 map packs like always. I wouldn't have any evidence to believe otherwise, but But this is some really exciting stuff for zombies, guys, and you know, this year is going to be absolutely massive. 2018 is the year for Treyarch Call of Duty. And then when you think maybe about a year and a half down the line, when we look back, every single zombies map is now going to be officially available on a next-gen console. We'll have all of Black Ops 3, which contains World at War, some Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 stuff, and then its entire game as well. And then Bo4 with Call of the Dead, probably everything from Black Ops 2, and then the Bo4 itself, all on next-gen console. And that's going to bring so many zombies players together. It's unfortunate that some people are separated by you know, gens of consoles or different maps that they're on and can only play on that particular one, but to have everybody unified is going to be amazing for zombies. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section which particular map are you most excited for to return and why. Give me your reasoning. You know, you could say that you want Mob Dead to come back because you like the map, but go a little more specific. I want to hear your guys' details. It's interesting to see your discussions amongst yourselves about why you dislike or like a certain map. It's cool for me to see and gets a little more perspective onto, you know, what makes a map good in other people's opinion. But I'm really excited for this stuff, guys. I'm super passionate about Call of Duty Zombies, and I think this is going to be the biggest year that we have ahead of us. We're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer, have a little more patience until Treyarch and Blundell sits down and reveals everything to us. And I don't know, I'm just looking really forward to that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, then be sure to leave a like. That would be absolutely wonderful. Subscribe if you are new to this channel, and go join my Discord server if you want to keep this conversation going with me and some other people. That will be in the description. And without further ado, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next live stream or the next video. Peace out.